Hey y'all, my name is Alina Sikandar, and for my final project, I decided to talk about amodal completion. So let's synapse right into it. Here we have a pattern of a bunch of horses that I hand drew and I filled in. And in this square right here, it's essentially hiding one of the horses. Now, in this phenomenon that I want to talk about, this square is what we would call an occluder. It is the thing that is hiding the object behind it. Now, even though the horse in this case is being hidden, our brains can still essentially fill in the missing pieces to tell us that this isn't just the back of a horse or front of a horse, or it's not just being sliced in half, but this is a full whole horse being hidden behind something. And our brains can fill in those missing pieces. Now, this phenomenon is something known as amodal completion. Now, amodal completion is due to two parts. One is top-down processing, and the other is bottom-up processing. First, let's talk about top-down. Top-down is essentially using our prior knowledge. For example, growing up, we have seen horses before, and we know that horses just are whole, and you never see just half of a horse in real life. So our brains can look at this and go, oh, hey, that these two segments of a whole, there must be a middle part that is a whole horse. But then the other part is what we would call bottom-up processing, and this is using things like shape and good form and things like Gestalt principles. The Gestalt principles in this case would be continuity, and the patterns that are showing are kind of repeated. And good continuity in this case would mean that this essentially horse would be continuous throughout, and that our brain can fill it in to say, hey, this is an entire horse that is being completed. This is entire objects. So essentially, amodal completion is a lot of it due to our prior knowledge, but also Gestalt principles and things like continuity, good form, shape, things like that. And that is the idea of amodal completion. In real life, we would use this phenomenon if you were to look at somebody that is standing behind the blinds of a window. We know that their face isn't just being cut off by the blinds, but there's a complete entire face behind it. And that is also essentially why humans are so amazing, because something that computers can't mimic that we have is the idea of amodal completion. We know that if something's behind something else, that it's still complete, it's whole. And however, computers would essentially look at something behind the window and think that the little blinds are essentially cutting off the face, and that face is in fragments. So amodal completion is really cool to learn about, and I suggest that you go and do your own research and look at more research articles on it, because it's very cool and something that we use every day. Thank you.